What's good, everybody? Back to do our annual musical favorites, and this time we're looking back at 2019. I basically treat it kind of like you do notables back in like the yearbook, or even kind of like award shows where you get categories, and then I tell you what my favorite one was within that category. Instead of doing like a ranking list, because to me that's too hard to do. So I just kind of like sort it out so everything can kind of get its just due, because I feel they need to be mentioned. So that's why I do it this way. But let's hop into the categories. The first one we got is the Topeka Local Rap Album, and for this one I gotta say it's Seuss by Seuss Mace. So Everyone Understands Sick Stuff. That project was really great. I was finally happy to see him put out some material that everyone can get on streaming services, because he has dropped other albums and mixtapes, EPs, but they've just kind of mainly been stuff that you have to contact either him directly to get it digitally, or be there in person to get physical CDs. So this project right here was really great. And I think he really showed up and showed out, and I'm looking forward to what he's got coming out next. Now we got the Tampa, or kind of this Central Florida area local rap album. And for this, I haven't got to listen to a whole lot of stuff in this area this year, but one project that I did really enjoy was Nameless by Kanashi No Revenge. And it is a pretty darn great quick selection of tracks with a lot of really good energy, and a little bit of variety in there as well. Dig it quite a bit. So next, on to my favorite independent collaboration project. My honorable mention, because I do kind of feel like they blur the lines between mainstream and independent, is the Head in the Clouds 2 compilation by 88 Rising. That project was really great. Very little missteps, even though it is kind of like going a little bit more the generic hip hop, kind of alternative pop and dance pop route. The songs are still readily enjoyable, and not so shallow that I don't want to listen to. But the winner, the one I want to say is my favorite independent collaboration, would actually go to All God's Dangers by Stick Figure and Rob Victim. Yo, Stick and Rob was a very great combination. The production that Rob gave him, some very good kind of lo-fi sample based stuff, kind of a slightly different take on the sample boom bap style that Stick normally gets on. And I feel like Stick really got extremely personal on a lot of these tracks, even more personal than he has been before, because he's always been kind of that homegrown MC who lets you into the many things that go in the mind of the everyday man. But now it feels like even more so honed in to his own personal journey. And if you relate to it, you relate to it, and if not, you're intrigued by his own personal point of view based off of the things that he experienced in it. It's great project. So now on to my favorite mainstream collaboration, which I would have to say goes to the Revenge of the Dreamers project by Dreamville, because Revenge of the Dreamers 3 is just chock full of so many dope songs, and it's also pretty varied. There is a good amount of like some trap rap kind of like stuff in there, but they really make sure the bars stay in there. as well, and then sprinkle in a couple of R&B tracks. And the fact that they were able to gather so many different artists from around the US to be a part of this is amazing, and also to just whittle it down to these tracks must have been a very daunting task, but they pulled it off. And yeah, fantastic project in the rap world. Now to move on to my favorite independent R&B album. So my honorable mention this time would have to be Brand New by Lindsay Alderman. She put out a great EP towards like I think it was around maybe springtime, and man, she showed that power in her femininity, and also a bit of that sensuality that she captures very well at all times. And she's also been dropping a couple little singles throughout the end of this year as well, which is really great. But this project here really had me excited to hear even more from her, because I've been a fan for a couple of years now, I feel. And if it's definitely worth honorable mention here, but the winner of this category would have to end up actually going to Mosaic by Phony People, because oh my gosh, Phony People have been amazing for so many years. Even though they're now finally signed to, I believe it's 300, that record label. It's still an independent label, and they still pretty much do a lot on their own, and they've been enjoying a fantastic year, touring like always, and also including their residencies that they have in New York as well, being the house bands, I believe, like twice for some Tiny Desk performances, like the Tiny Desk performance that they did with Megan Thee Stallion, which was absolutely wonderful, and premiering a new song that they did together that was, oh my gosh, mwah. But this project right here really did show that they are definitely a fantastic R&B band that loves to blend styles from jazz and R&B, hip hop, and just bring it in a real feel-good way, and all about moving your mind. You know, she can move her butt, but can't she move the mind? Sorry, reference to a song in there, but yeah, great project to check out, and my favorite independent R&B album of the year. Now to go on to the mainstream R&B album of the year. I know this is gonna sound blasphemous, man, but my runner-up, my honorable mention is gonna have to be Igor, by Tyler the Creator. Like, to see Tyler slowly blossom into this almost pretty much R&B artist, because even though it's like nominated now for Best Rap Album, it's really not a rap album. It's much more kind of R&B and like soul almost, and it's fantastic. But the thing that captures that soul the most is my winner, and that is Ventura by Anderson .Paak. Yeah, Anderson .Paak, man, is a fantastic artist. His voice is so iconic. His writing is so amazing, and you can't help but just be taken back to this wonderful bit of musical nostalgia when you hear his music. And then he also still is able to blend a bit of new feel that makes it still current and talk on subjects that just hit. And yeah, gotta love that project. Amazing. Now to move on to my favorite independent pop album. So my runner-up happens to be a debut project by Devin Garcia, Shift. This project right here, man, was a excellent first like full-length EP. from Devin, and I've been keeping an eye on him since he started dropping some singles over the I believe last year and maybe the first single the year before, and really been intrigued by his sound, and seeing his growth and seeing where he's heading to now. Because even with the new single that he put out, I was like, all right, I see you mixed it up. He's been dropping a few loosies after the album came out, and I'm digging it. But my favorite independent pop album, though she may not want to be, maybe not really be classified as pop, is gotta be EP7 by Queen Herbie. Still continue to be a big fan of her stuff, and she's been dropping a lot of really great short projects. Can't wait for her to maybe finally do a full length. That she's been teasing that maybe it might come down the line. She has been enjoying doing the EP cycle because she feels she can put out a little bit more so in that time, but I know they're always constantly working on new material, so I don't feel it actually would be too tough for her and the production team, being her husband and also fellow collaborator Pumpin' and Pump, to do full-length projects. But you know, it is what it is. Still really enjoyed EP7 the most this year, because there was EP6 that came out as well, but EP7 I feel is a stronger showing, despite it being a shorter length of material. It's just each one of them hits and hits it right. So yeah, great pop R&B album. So yeah, now on to my favorite mainstream pop album. My runner-up will have to be "When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go" by Billie Eilish. That is what I would consider my runner-up, because this project here, this debut full-length album from Billie, was just so dang on masterful. I know some people slowly fell out of love with the project throughout the year, especially since Bad Guy was just continually on throughout the year. But for me, I still love pretty much every second of it. There's still just a couple of songs on there that I don't enjoy as much, but it's a great project. But I still have to say, Thank You Next by Ariana Grande is my favorite of the year, because what Ariana was able to do with her style and continue to go even more urban pop with it, and still have it be extremely personal and still fun at the same time is great. And yeah, there's really only like maybe a couple of songs on there as well that I don't listen to as much, but every single song on there is a great one. So yeah. So now is gonna be some new categories that are being added to my favorites lists, because if you've been paying attention to the channel or blog, you will know that I've been jumping into K-pop. So right now I'm going to give you my favorite K-pop album, which is going to be Multiple by Luna. So yeah, Luna is kind of like, after Blackpink, is one of the first like K-pop groups that I've done the full deep dive into, because after jumping into Blackpink and loving everything that they do, I tried moving over to Red Velvet during the Red Bay Festival 2, well, day 2, And I was like, oh, okay. And then I just kind of happened to stumble upon Luna, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me listen to all this stuff, because the stuff that they're doing is so like diverse, and they oh, there's a universe that's super extensive, and oh my gosh, I'm in orbit. And so yeah, so since Multiple is the debut, like I jumped into their full discography this year, but since Multiple is what came out this year, I would have to say this was my favorite K-pop album of this year, because I have been listening to it like nonstop the entire year, and every single song on there I adore. So cannot wait until hashtag or pound sign or number sign or burn, whatever it's actually officially called, comes out. I can't wait to hear it. Curious if it's gonna be Luna the Ballad, since there was since 365 was definitely a ballad, so, and I know that was a project in the works, even though it may have been scrapped by their old producer. Who knows? But really looking forward to it, because this album, and plus all the stuff that they did leading up to this album, has been, for the most part, my cup of tea. There's rarely a strikeout. But anyway, on to the other new category I got here. My favorite K-pop song of the year is gonna have to end up going to Hip by Mamamoo. I am now officially a Moo. I'm part of the Radish Army, and yeah, this song, when I first saw that music video, I was like, oh my gosh, I instantly love this, and so that finally made me just go ahead and listen to their whole discography, and just being like, yeah, everything that they do, great. But this song was so infectious. Is another one that I just constantly had on repeat since I've heard it, and just gotta say, man, Mamamoo is the truth. But also Stan Luna. So, strange music album. My favorite strange music album of the year would have to go to Nina by Tech-9. I know usually I don't end up doing an actual Tech-9 project for my favorite of the year, but this year it happens to go to him. So yeah, all of the Nina parts have finally got put together this year, and you know, along with a couple additional songs that weren't already released in the earlier EPs. And I feel like as a body of work, a full-length body of work, it is pretty darn good. With every Tech-9 project, there's always going to be songs that I don't particularly care for, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. It's just interesting to see strange music art, like as a whole, their sound is starting to become a little less strange these days. I feel, because they're really getting trendier and trendier with the production, I feel. But it is what it is. It's still a great project. And now we're gonna move on to the favorite independent rap album. So my favorite independent rap album runner-up will have to be Crit Is Here by Big Crit. Yes, I know Big Crit, it technically kind of is a mainstream artist, but now he's independent, so I felt it was still worthy to be here, and I really enjoyed it. I know some people were kind of disappointed because it sounded like he was going for a more palatable direction, especially with him finally working with other producers than mainly producing everything himself. But I still enjoyed quite a bit of the project, and it just didn't quite top my other favorite independent rap album, which takes it back to Kansas, boy. The dude with the strap back dad hat. Yeah, so XV, man. XV is an artist that I have liked for quite some time, and I've always been waiting for him to finally come back off of hiatus and give us a full-length project. And he gave us an EP and an album, and he says there's even more to come. So with this project, I felt it really gave the fans exactly what they were wanting, because he was able to talk about what got him to fame before, what happened after the bit of a fall off, and where his mindset is going into the future. And it has me super excited, and I really feel that he put together a really fantastic project that we can listen to until the next project, which hopefully won't take as many years as it has for us to get these two. So yeah, now on to my favorite mainstream rap albums. So once again, with the group 88 with the label collective 88 Rising, that line is kind of blurred, but if I were to consider it mainstream, I would say The Sailor by Rich Brian is my runner-up for favorite mainstream rap album, because I do think it was fantastically crafted, showed a lot of growth when it comes to the writing that Rich Brian has, including the production as well. It's just magnifique. I like so much of it. Like when I first heard it from start to finish, I was like, yo, he has grown so much. He's gotten so much better. His writing, his delivery, his production, everything jumped up many notches from Amen, and that had me super excited. But it doesn't quite top a different artist down here from Florida, Denzel Curry with Zoo. This project was so dang on fun, and I know that's exactly what he was aiming for in the interviews, and he captured it perfectly. And he also was able to give some really poignant stuff in there as well, talking about his own personal life and who he got his morals from, with the stuff like Ricky, and then talking about the pain of people being lost in like Speedboat and Automatic, and then just also being able to have a great old time like with Carol Mart and I can't Shake 88. Like this whole project was just fantastic. And also Speedboat is still like one of my favorite songs to like come out this year, because the book just sounds so beautiful, and the way he rapped on it and what he was talking about was just like ugh. And both of the music videos just nail that kind of cinematic-esque feel that song had. Excellent project. Zoo is definitely my favorite mainstream rap album, even though Denzel Curry is an extremely slept on when it comes to being artist on a mainstream label. Anyway, my favorite surprise album. There wasn't a lot of surprise albums this year, so it was a very small selection, but I was kind of surprised to see that, you know, Beyonce ended up curating an album for The Lion King. So The Gift was definitely a fun project. Really cool to hear her takes on very Afrobeat centric songs, along with a couple other kind of pop and R&B tracks as well, along with a couple of the other collaborators and artists that even had their own songs without her on it. So that was my favorite album that just kind of came out of the blue. No real promotion like, hey, we're doing an album for it. So that was great. My favorite throwback album album with a throwback feel is going to be me mentioning somewhat this project I mentioned before, Ventura by Anderson .Paak. That throwback feel, man, he really captures that good soul feel, soul and R&B feel that you don't really get to hear as often, even though R&B has definitely been making a comeback this year, because a lot of like better projects have been R&B artists, though a lot of them do kind of skew themselves a little bit more to the more contemporary R&B. So when you go back to that old school R&B and soul feel, I feel Ventura captured it perfectly, and that's why it's got that lovely, notable. So now I'm gonna talk about my favorite United States comeback album. I have to specify US comeback album now that I talk about K-pop. So when I say comeback, I mean like they've been on a major hiatus and they're finally back with another project, and this one has to go to Iconology by Missy Elliott. This EP, from all 4 tracks, man, just hits you like she ain't never skipped a beat. She killed it, and it just gets me super excited for even more, because I know she's got a lot that she's still able to offer as such an innovative artist as she is. So after that, I have to say my favorite Curveball album that just kind of threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting it to sound like that, and that is definitely Igor by Tyler, the Creator. I would like we've seen him continually grow as a producer throughout the years, and even a bit as a songwriter as well, because even Flower Boy like surprised a lot of people with how lush and also introspective he got in a pretty way, instead of just kind of being like more brash about it, and even sometimes gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Just delivered in a way that some people think is just a little too much. I don't want to say aversive, but anyway, it was a fantastic project. Hearing him tap into kind of more of the soul kind of feel with a lot of these songs, with still that Tyler, the Creator, splash of flavor in there, and he knocked it out the park. It just couldn't quite beat my favorite R&B project, which happened to be Ventura, but it was still an amazing project from top to bottom. So now I got to mention my favorite K-pop artist / band to watch. So this year, since I mentioned it earlier, it should be no surprise, it's gotta be Luna. I've been like, as soon as I like finally started hopping in that world and seeing all the stuff that's like that they've been building, I just could not stop seeing what in the world Luna's gonna do next, by like trying to look up all the different variety shows they hopped on, seeing any performances and dance covers they would put up, watching the Luna TVs when they would pop up sporadically after KCON and stuff like that. I'm so happy that Luna TV is back right now, because they're getting ready for their new comeback. So right now they're talking about like the photo sets and all that good stuff, and like checking out the fan cams and fan meetup stuff that they shouldn't have that those fans shouldn't actually have uploaded, but it's okay because I love being able to see all the new stuff that they've been doing. I just love it. So yeah. Now, my favorite rapper to watch this year happens to be Wax. Wax this year has been, he was doing the Acoustic Monday series, so that, so he was like dropping a new song throughout the year, and then also he was also dropping singles to get ready for, gosh, now I can't remember the name, BAAA. As he was getting ready to drop that, he was also dropping like 2 singles like almost every other week, and that was really exciting to watch because every single drop was like some more amazing material, and the project itself was really great as well. Just didn't quite top some of the other projects through the year, but it was definitely fun to watch anything that Wax was able to drop for us this year, and he happened to be even more interesting than me watching Pride, who has gotten it in years past. But I'm still looking forward to what Pride, aka Russell, is going to be bringing in 2020 because his new project will be coming out. But my favorite rapper to watch this year, 2019, happened to be Wax. Now, my favorite singer to watch this year, I believe, was my favorite singer to watch last year, and it's Ariana Grande, because the stuff that she's been doing with the Thank You Next, and then also the Sweetener / Thank You Next tour, has been really great. And then like her even releasing different songs in the middle of tour, so like her dropping Boyfriend and dropping Monopoly, stuff like that. It was really fun. And then she even, you know, worked a lot for the Charlie's Angels project soundtrack, and then also, what's the other thing that and she also just recently dropped the K Thanks Bye live album of the Sweetener / Thank You Next tour, and I still have to listen to the whole thing, but since they're all songs that I already know and enjoy, and I got to see it live myself, I know it's already great. So, but yeah, very fun to watch her. Even though there are a couple of others that you know I was keeping an eye on, but the most interesting one to watch was Ariana Grande. Now, my favorite debut album, I have a runner-up for this one, would have to go to Lil Nas X and Seven. He was my runner-up for my favorite debut album because that project was way better than it like deserved to be. Like he definitely has a lot of room to grow, but the tracks are still very listenable and diverse, and it's interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting to see where he goes from here, because he's definitely trying to prove that he doesn't want to be pigeonholed as just kind of the country rap guy, and he's trying to just be a interesting musical blend, and just create songs that you want to jam to no matter what kind of genres you enjoy. But my favorite actual debut album is going to have to go to If I May by Win, because I've been watching her for a good while too, and her dropping singles here and there, and now that she's finally graduated, she dropped this debut project, and she really showed her determination and her skill set and the direction that she wants to go. A bit of boom bap and a bit of contemporary hip hop with a lot of integrity, and I absolutely love it, and I am here to support. And this project was a great showing of what she has to offer the landscape these days. Now, on to my favorite song of the year. So, my runner-up for Song of the Year is gonna have to be Curious by Luna. Yeah, you heard it right, a K-pop song. Curious. Alright, so I started this year, let me just explain this. I started this year just stumbling across Luna Odd Eye Circle, which eventually led me to listening to Luna themselves, and going straight into multiple or XX, and I was like, yo, the styles that they have here is amazing, and I'm listening to it in order and listening to Butterfly. I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. Gets a Satellite. Ooh, this is really cool. Then Curious comes on, and I hear those chords and the dang on chorus, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa! What is this? This is woo! And so, yeah, that just made me be like, yep, I like Luna. I gotta listen to everything they got. But I always return back to Curious because that song just, ooh, it's ear candy. But another song that was even much more ear candy and even kind of touched me with the relatability of it all was Needy by Ariana Grande. And yo, that song is so dang on pretty. Very simple chord progression in there, but the bass just warms the vocal, the harmonies in it, and you could really tell the true emotion in it, and the delivery of just how much she does love to be, needed, and how much she needs that affection in her life, and how she kind of needs to find a way to not be so dependent, but still wanting to feel like her partner can be dependent on her. It's so touching and beautiful, and even hearing that junk live was like, yes. So that's my favorite. That is my favorite song of the year, with Curious as a close second. But my favorite album of the year is runner-up by When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? I know, you would have thought it would be Thank You Next. So as much as I love Thank You Next as an album, and I think it's my favorite pop album of the year, when I look at the album and look at the albums as a whole, and the concept and the execution, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish was still just a masterwork. And the fact that they were able to do it in their own personal studio, the way it's mixed and mastered is just so beautiful, and the songwriting is amazing. Yeah, it just deserves to be an album of the year, at least an honorable mention, which it is. Because my favorite album of the year is Multiple by Luna XX. Man, it's if anything made me really embrace everything else that comes with K-pop, it would have to be this album. Because yes, Blackpink and their album Kill This Love made me be like, you know what, they're okay. It's about time I start listening to full projects when they come out. Yeah, that made me be like, all right, let's see what else is out there. But XX truly made me dive into everything. yeah, Blackpink was able to get me in the door. It got me in the door and look around, right? But multiple made me stay here. And I'm here, baby. I'm here for all the K-pop. But especially Luna, because they cover so much ground in all of their material. And this album here is what made me be like, I'm here to stay. Because there is absolutely no skippable tracks. Like even the intro, the small instrumental intro, beautiful, love it. And Butterfly with its message, the music video, wow. Satellite, oh my goodness, fantastic, wonderful singing, great production, the choreography for it's really great. Curious being my favorite song, almost my favorite song of the whole year. Amazing. Then Colors and its fantastic production, its wonderful choreography, its great performance, like vocal performance too. It's great. And then Where You At, just a wonderful little send-off that just really trance-like and just really could just let you just drift away and leave you longing for more. Yeah, it's gotta be my favorite album this year. It has to be. Like nothing else this year has got me so intrigued to look at everything that they've done, everything, than listening to this project by Luna. And that's why it is my album of the year. Yeah. So congrats, Luna. You made me in orbit. And I will tell everyone else to stand Luna as well. So, and then I always like to tack on kind of this ever since last year, because some people always like to approach me and be like, "Yo, what's your favorite song that you've made?" Since last year I just started adding what my favorite song that I created that year is. And being that this was kind of like my hiatus year, I didn't put out a whole lot of material, but one of the songs I did end up writing and releasing this year is called Around, and I really love it because the beat I chose is really fun and really great and easy to bounce around to. And so therefore with the lyrics, what I did for the first verse is just be real catchy and sly and witty, and the second verse I continue to keep the delivery very catchy, but with a very serious message of how I can't allow my love of music to overtake my love for God and stuff like that. So it was very personal in the second verse, despite it being very catchy, and it also kind of reconceptualizes the meaning of the chorus that is also very, very infectious because it's written to be very circular, and it just really feels like you're stuck on that merry-go-round that sounds like you're on the beat itself. So it's just great writing in concept and in execution, and that's why it's my favorite song that I released this year, even though a close second might be Fighting Temptation, because that song is also very, very well written as well, and I can't wait to make everybody want to love that song as next year, because those are all on the IS sneak peek. The project IS, I'm still not releasing the name of the project, but the project IS will be coming out hopefully next year, because the hiatus is over. But yeah, so that's my 2019 musical favorites. It's been fun looking back on this year, and hopefully in this upcoming decade, and even just next year, we'll have even more wonderful music to share together, and hopefully we can enjoy a lot of it and not be disappointed. But yeah, much love, peace.